Okay, welcome back to my channel for another workout routine home weights day number 5. So this vlog I'm gonna get into like more detail about what I do and what I be doing, and yeah, so at college level, I guess they just kind of cover the topics. They cover the topics for, say, like mathematics. So what I do, I just do mathematics, and I find that is my natural skill. Like that is just my that's just my talent. That's just naturally what I do or good at, So, or like I pick up that skill. And yeah, so what I do is mathematics, and I go into more details. So, to be honest, I feel like mathematics in university is not really I feel like math in university is not so like it would still be structured, but it wouldn't be so fast. It wouldn't be so it wouldn't be too like you wouldn't have to adhere too much to say it's like a lucrative field like medicine or law. Then it have a program for that profession, and that related to the law, that related to the government law to practice these professions. But if it's something like math in university, it would be quite simple actually. It would be college level papers, yes. It would be English papers on mathematics, yes, that you'll have to submit, and it will be mathematics exams. But it wouldn't be like, it wouldn't be so heavily structured for the licensing, the government license. It wouldn't be structured for that. So it's still structured. It still have a system of, you could say, like a syllabus or curriculum. They would follow the same basic curriculum of mathematics that you learn. They just have a curriculum. They follow that. Maybe like later down or in the actual field. Okay, so first, ain't nobody understand mathematics. That's the first thing you learn. That's the first thing in mathematics. I think like mental maths majors and like mathematics geniuses and things, that's the first like bias they have, which is like nobody understands shit in math. But I mean, if you seclude yourself from society a little bit and form your own little circle, your own little like organization, you could get the message across to people who want to know. But I try to relate it to things like applied mathematics, to applied mathematics fields, and to programming languages, but not like actual programming languages, like programming in a language like Arabic, so that you get a sense, you get something from the education, or you get some knowledge, or you get some skill from the education. You get to learn about programming in Arabic. You get to learn about programming. So, you get to learn a little bit about Arab countries and stuff like that. And you get to see computer science from that point of view. Computer science from Islamic countries, computer science in Islamic countries and Arabic countries. So you get to learn something there. And then when I talk about like offshore and drilling, you get to learn about applied. You get to see the applied mathematics in offshore, or like in petroleum engineering. You get to learn about the applied mathematics. So you get to learn about like pressure, like pore pressure laws and just basically pressure laws, flow. You get to learn about flow and viscosity and gravity and things like that. So you get to learn about some of the applied mathematics, the physics, and but in the specific mathematics, it is something like trying to explain two things to students, which is logarithm, and the reason why I do this, or the reason why people do this, is for learning, right? So the mathematics split up into basically two things, which is the logarithm, the exponent, the power, and that is obviously for growth. So you would want to teach like you would want to learn about the exponent, the power number raised to a power raised to the logarithm. You would want them to learn about growth, like growth rates, so that is a growth rate. And then so that's one thing. And then the next thing you would want to teach about, which is more of an engineering thing. So one is simply just growth rates, and you learn about that in like, it could be applied to economics, or it could be simplified into physics like that. And then you have differential equations. So you have differentiation, and this is for a polynomial equation. So you would want to teach about the polynomial equation. So I like to use something such as rows and columns. So in basic, like fundamental education, like you learn this in primary school, you learn about rows and columns. I like to show numbers raised to a power in rows and columns, and then I like to describe the polynomial equation in rows and columns. And it's simple as that. It's just simple. It's a simple design for learning. You learn the power as rows and columns, and you learn polynomial equations as rows and columns, and then you learn differentiation. So you learn the conversion to the differential as rows and columns. And right now I'm still like furthering my specific view on the mathematics, but when you describe a polynomial equation as a set of rows and columns, and you differentiate it, what exactly is the differential in that sense? You know, so so you have a polynomial equation, you differentiate it, and you have to describe. So when you change it to the rows and the columns, the conversion to the rows and the columns, you are getting the differential, you are getting the change of this polynomial equation with respect to some other variable, usually time. So the differential is specifically for change with respect to time. So if you have a if you have a polynomial equation and you differentiate it, you will get the rate of change of that polynomial equation with respect to time. And this is like more engineering, you know, so the differential is more engineering. And yeah, so when it comes to teaching students, so I look at certain nuances, and I'll give you an example. The differential of x cubed is 3x squared, which is the same as x cubed, which is the same as 3 cubed. 3x squared. So 3 cubed is the same as 3 times 3 squared. That's if the variable is 3. So, you know, and it goes like that continuously. So 4 times 4 cubed is the same as 4 to the power of 4. So for some reason, the differential of variables, the differential of a number to the power of itself is the same when it differentiated. So that's a nuance in differentiation. So this is one example, and this is what method I use to give an idea of the rows and columns that occur in. And then I like to set out the rows and columns as a as a summation. So when you set out the polynomial equation as rows and columns, the differentials, and you relate it in as the summations. So the sums of the variables, and you know, I use different methods to show students like what this is. And this is at an advanced level. If you can get a student to learn additional mathematics, you know, or a piece of pure mathematics, then you did your job, because that is in general where some level of success lies in. That means that, you know, they have a level that they could work with in basic in the engineering fields, in offshore fields, and in computer science fields, or even in renewable energy, electrician, vocational fields. So what I am doing right now, what I am trying to compile, and it's so much work, is the mental process. And it's so slow right now for me, you know. Plus I even thinking about giving this up and just becoming like a muscle monster, and like kickboxing. I like just doing kickboxing and becoming like a muscle monster, but so in some ways I already kind of did that, which was just do kickboxing and lift weights. So in some ways I already freaking do that. But honestly, luckily, the mathematics is no big deal to the mathematics is no big deal. Mathematics is no big deal to freelance, you know. So right now I'm compiling the summations for that and describing it in that sense. And so yeah. Anyway, thanks for watching and see you in the next